gender identities that are, I was about to say available, present, and seemingly harmless. We all know he probably isn't harmless. He's not really a love interest, but as like a hot man in the story. I don't think I've like been this invested in a series for a while. Angels, welcome back to another video. My name is Ro, and today we're doing another episode of InstaLove about Black Sun. Now, Black Sun is a book that came out November 2020, around about end of last year, and I bought the beautiful Goldsboro edition, which I am obviously very happy that I bought this now, because this is a contender for best book of 2021, and that is saying that after I read Middle Game, and you guys will know Middle Game was my book. So let's rewind and tell you a little bit more about Black Sun. I do have two copies because I got so excited about it coming out that I got the hardback, which came out like immediately when it came out, and then I think the Goldsboro for some reason went on sale like a good few months after. So I have two. I'm going to give this copy to my friend Emma, who lives in Cardiff though. So I kind of wanted to show off how much I thought that I was going to love this book and how much I'm glad that I did love this book. So what is Black Sun about? Black Sun is a epic fantasy by an Indigenous author called Rebecca Roanhorse. And there is a lot of Indigenous culture throughout this, not only in the kind of the names and the ways that they have the different gods that they worship, but also in the kind of gender identities that are, I was about to say available, present, the gender identities that are present in this book as well. So there are two characters in this book that go by Z/Zir pronouns. That is XE/XIR pronouns. Now I will warn you, when I listened to the audiobook, it was not obvious that these were pronouns being used because the narrator was saying she and sheer, and to me an X sound is a Z. So I don't know if that's actually correct in terms of pronunciation, but it sounded like they were saying she. So when the first non-binary character came up, they were saying she, so it sounded weird. But I could tell it was slightly, you know, it was slightly like she, like almost like that, but it very much sounded like she. So keep an eye out for that in audiobook, because you might get a little bit confused because they say sheer as well. So I was then confused because I thought they were saying one person's name was also sheer, and I was like, do they have two names? But no, it's just the pronouns. And once I opened the physical copy, obviously it's very obvious that the pronouns are different. So that is just a little addendum for the narrator. However, I did absolutely fall in love with the narrators for Black Sun. There are about 3 or 4, I can't quite remember how many perspectives there are. It's kind of hard to, like, the synopsis is very vague. So I felt like the synopsis isn't very, like, grabby. I didn't feel like it, like, really hooked me, but I'd seen so many good reviews about this book on Twitter that I just had to pick it up. So basically in this book, the whole kind of plot is surrounding this event called the Convergence, and this is in the holy city of Tova. It's like the winter solstice, but on the winter solstice this year there is going to be an eclipse. There are a couple of characters that revolve around this convergence. Each chapter says something like 2 months before convergence, and it gets closer and closer, but some are flashbacks, so it'll say like 10 years before convergence. So it really builds the atmosphere and like the intrigue and the excitement for this convergence, like this event. Like all throughout the book I was like, what the fuck is going to happen at this convergence? I want to know. So there are kind of 3 main characters that we are following. There is Giala, who is a Teak, that's the race, and she is kind of like a pirate, but not really. She's a sailor. She's a sailor, and she gets put onto a ship towards Tova with the other character Serapio, who is blind and scarred and seemingly harmless. We all know he probably isn't harmless. And the third character is called Narampa, and she is the high priestess of the sun already in the holy city of Tova. So this kind of revolves around these three characters. Now, there isn't much more I can say without spoiling it, but there are different magics going on. Shiala has kind of the power to not really harness the sea, but she has some kind of water powers, and she, you know, more stuff gets revealed as the book goes on. People think that she's bad luck because of her eyes, like her eyes show that she's a teak, and people think that they're bad luck. Serapio also has some powers that are like dark, to do with crows and things, hence the little like crow stuff on the cover. So in this holy city of Tova, there are like different religions for different gods kind of thing, but it's kind of all one religion, but then they each kind of clan revolves around a different god. So there's like a water dragon one. I didn't really pay attention to the other ones, but the crow one is the main one that is like to do with the plot. But not only are there these just normal clans, there are some crow occultists, because there was a massacre, God knows how long ago, where some of the other clans like massacred the crows because they thought they were evil or something. That is very awful paraphrasing, but you kind of get the gist. So the crow god is kind of like very cool, and the whole book like revolves around like the crow god and possibly other gods like becoming incarnate and becoming like avatars on this earth. The convergence is leading up to that possibly, and it's just really cool. So the characters in this, I cared about every single one of the narrations. I did like Serapio's the most, but to be honest, the narrator for Shiala had the best voice for Serapio. Like the female narrator for Shiala had a really good voice for Serapio. The way that she made his voice sound really sultry and like smooth. I don't know what it was about her, but she really did his voice well. And the thing about Serapio as well, as like I wouldn't really say a love interest. He's not really a love interest, but as like a hot man in the story, he is just like a nice guy, it seems. Like there is nothing untoward about him. He's very prim. He like tries his best to like stay away. He's just very respectful, and you know, that's what's attractive in a man these days, because the bar is in the floor. I also really enjoyed Giala's character development, from just kind of like fucking around at the beginning of the book to like getting down to business. And as well as Narampa, like I felt really sorry for her, like what was going on with her. Obviously it's really hard for me to explain what I mean without spoiling it, but you get what I mean. And the character interactions and like seeing them come together, and you know, one narrator like crossing over the other is really cool as well, obviously near the end. I thought the magic was cool. I thought the world building was the most incredible part. I fully bought into everything. I suspended all disbelief when it came to this book. I thought it was masterfully crafted. I just really thought that the whole Avatar coming to Earth thing, the crow god coming to Earth thing, having an avatar of his own, like it's just incredible. And I liked all the politics, especially in Tova with Narampa, like her trying to navigate all the politics because they don't think that she should be in charge. Oh my god, there's just so much going on in this book, and it's in a good way. It's all really neatly packed, really tightly wrapped up for you, and just given to you in little morsels. And oh, it is just incredible. I would recommend reading possibly the first few chapters physically, because of to figure out what the pronouns are for which character, and also B, to kind of get into the story, because the first two chapters are kind of more flashbacky, whereas then from the third chapter onwards you're with Narampa and it's kind of modern day, like leading up to the convergence. It's on Scribd, that's how I listened to it, because I already have clearly 2 copies. But I listened on Scribd like partly and then read it physically partly, so I would recommend that, to be honest. The sequel to this is called Fevered Star, and it comes out in April 2022, so there is still a little while to go for the sequel. I think the first chapter is out on Rebecca Roanhorse's website, but obviously that's like 6 months away nearly, and it came out last November, so it'll be like a year and a half between books, which is very strange. But then a lot of books are being pushed back because of COVID in general, which is shit, because I want to read my books, but I guess time to get on those arcs. But yeah, I do just want to mention my core pile rating. So this got a 9.57 on core pile, which was the same as it got for middle game. I just cannot wait for the sequel. I'm so excited. I'm so like, I don't think I've like been this invested in a series for a while. The last one that I remember feeling this way about, like for the next one to come out, was the Daevabad trilogy. Like you could say maybe Poppy War, but not really, because the second one was okay, and then the third one came out not long after I read the second one. I felt that way about Holy Sister as well. To be fair, Jade Legacy is also a high on my list sequel. I know this isn't relevant to Black Sun right now, but I will probably be doing an InstaLove for the Greenbones saga, because once that last book is in my hands or on my Audible, I will probably be screaming about it to you guys. So yeah, that's it for this short little InstaLove video for you guys. Nice little Tuesday video for you. I really hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you've read Black Sun. Let me know if I've convinced you to read Black Sun and your thoughts. Make sure you subscribe to get more content from me, like this video. Leave a little crow emoji in the comments if you were here and you didn't really feel like you had anything to say, but you wanted to say that you were here. Thank you to all those people as well who keep doing that. It really, really makes my day to know that you want to tell me you were here. It's absolutely fabulous. All of my links are in the description, including my Patreon. Please do check it out. We have monthly sprints, live shows. If you don't know what I'm talking about, this is what you're missing out on. I will contact you on Patreon. Oh wait, are you here? Oh right, it's because you're Simply Take It. Oh, he's only in the other room as well. Traitor! And speaking of my Patreon, I want to give a huge, huge shout out to all of my friends at the Deity tier. So that is Becca, Meg, Mercy, Lydia, Amy, Sarah, and Lisa. Thank you guys so much for your support. And I will see you guys in another video. Bye!